Hello everybody and welcome back at GegLex. In this video I want to tell you more about the Gheg Albanian dialect. So the main question is, what is Gheg Albanian? How is it different from standard Albanian or tosk Albanian? Also, the second question afterwards is, what is Kosovo Albanian? Which dialect or variant of Albanian is spoken in Kosovo? Kosovo is one of Europe's youngest countries. It is located in the Balkans near Albania, North Macedonia, Serbia and Montenegro, and it is mainly populated by Albanians, and Albanian is the main language there. The Albanian language was officially standardized in the 1970s by the communist leader Enver Hoxha. Back then, Albania was a communist state. It was greatly isolated from the other countries in the region, from the world in general. Religions were banned, etc. And Enver Hoxha himself was a tosk. He was from southern Albania, from the city of Gjirokastër, and in Gjirokastër a southern tosk dialect is spoken. Tosk and Gheg are the main dialects of the Albanian language. Tosk is spoken in southern Albania, south to the river of Shkumbin. This river, called Shkumbin, flows south of Elbasan. Elbasan is the city in Albania where the southernmost Gheg dialect is spoken. North of this river Shkumbin, Gheg dialects are spoken, so in central Albania, in most of North Macedonia, in northern Albania, in southern Montenegro, in all of Kosovo, and in some parts of southern Serbia, close to the border of Kosovo, there are Gheg dialects spoken. Gheg and tosk are much more different than other dialects of other languages, which I will tell you in the following. Now you already know that the standard Albanian language is mostly based on tosk because of the communist leader Enver Hoxha and the political elite of communist Albania, which was mostly tosk. That is why tosk Albanian is overly represented in the standard Albanian language, and Gheg Albanian, unfortunately, is underrepresented in the standard language. There are only roughly 10% Gheg features in standard Albanian and around 90% tosk Albanian features in the standard language. This standard Albanian language from the 1970s is also the official standard language in Kosovo. Even though Kosovo is a Gheg country, the speakers are Gheg, native Gheg speakers, to be more exact, northeastern Gheg, that is the dialect, northeastern Gheg, spoken in northeastern Albania, in some parts of North Macedonia, and in Kosovo. In Gheg, this dialect is called gegnishtja verilindore. Gegnishtja means the Gheg dialect, and verilindore means northeastern. Now let's talk about some of the main differences between Gheg and tosk so that you get a better idea. Gheg has a lot of archaic features which already existed in older Albanian language forms. Tosk is seen as a little more progressive and has lost many of these archaic forms. For instance, the nasal vowels. Gheg has preserved nasal vowels from older Albanian language forms, and this is especially used in Kosovo, for example. There we have the following nasal vowels. As in ba. Ba means to make, to do. Ba means made or done. San means thing. San, or also ner. Nera means honor. Stride means expensive. Stride, or also night. Night means state. Bri means horn, like the horn of a bull. Brini is the horn. Horn means nose. Huna. Su means eye. Suni would be definite the eye. Most of these nasal vowels exist as long and short forms, as we have seen before with the nasal variant, which can be either short like in san or also long as in ner. This is very special as only Gheg has this difference between short and long vowels. Tosk does not. Furthermore, Tosk does not have nasal vowels at all. Tosk has lost these nasal vowels and instead has developed a schwa sound like like the A in about, So instead of bon, they say bur, or better said, bure. Bure, the final is dropped in Gheg. Most of the sounds, of the schwa sounds, are actually dropped and reduced in Gheg. Bur is bon in Gheg. Also, Gheg has an infinitive construction, like in English, German, French, Italian, Spanish, Croatian, etc. Actually, many languages of Europe have these infinitive constructions, like in English, to go, in German, gehen, in Spanish, ir, or andar, in Italian I think it's also andare, etc. In Gheg this would be me shku. Me shku. It also consists of two parts as in English, to go, to eat. In Gheg we always have this me in the beginning. Me shku means to go, and for example me hunger means to eat. We can use them just like in English or in German or in other languages. This is very convenient. However, Tosk and Standard Albanian do not have these infinitive constructions. Instead, subjunctive constructions are used. So the sentence I want to go to Kosovo in Gheg would be du me shku në Kosovë, whereas in Standard or Tosk Albanian you would say dua të shkoj në Kosovë. These subjunctive constructions are always conjugated, so they change depending on who is talking about this, and in Gheg the infinitive constructions always stay the same. Moreover, Gheg has a different future tense than Standard or Tosk Albanian. In fact, Gheg uses a future tense consisting of the auxiliary verb to have, me pas, and a infinitive construction. So like we have seen before, for example, I would say I will go would be kom me shku. Kom usually means I have. It is the first person singular conjugated from me pas, to have. Une kom, I have, and me shku is to go. So kom me shku means I will go. Standard or Tosk Albanian instead uses a future tense with the auxiliary verb to want, do. So they would say do të shkoj. Do të shkoj means I will go in Standard or Tosk Albanian. So first we have the auxiliary do, which always stays the same, always do, like the Gheg infinitive, which always stays the same, and afterwards there is a conjugated subjunctive construction like të shkoj. Dua të shkoj means I want to go, and do të shkoj means I will go in Standard or Tosk Albanian. Also, Gheg Albanian, at least in Kosovo, has different imperfect forms than Standard or Tosk Albanian from the south. In Gheg Albanian I would say shkojsha, I went in the imperfect tense. The imperfect tense does not exist in English. It does exist in the Romance languages, at least I think in Spanish, Italian. It is a tense used to speak about the past, about events that happened over a longer period of time or which happened repeatedly. So shkojsha në shkollë, for example, would mean I went to school not only once but over a longer period of time, repeatedly. In Standard or Tosk Albanian, they would say shkoja. Shkoja and not shkojsha. So in Gheg, at least from Kosovo, there's an additional sh. Shkojsha, shkoja. There are many more differences, but these are the main differences, or some of the main differences between Gheg and Tosk in general. And I think these differences are very impressive. I don't know German dialects, for example, which have such big differences. Still, Gheg and Tosk are regarded as the same language, which is Albanian, shqip. Now let's also talk about the second question, what is Kosovo Albanian? As already mentioned before, Kosovo Albanian is basically northeastern Gheg. This is the dialect spoken in the region of Kosovo. It differs from northwestern Gheg, for example, as this dialect is spoken in northwestern Albania or also in southern Montenegro. However, we can also state that the Gheg dialects in general all share similarities, which makes them different from tosk dialects. Also, we have to mention that Kosovo was many years separated from Albania. It was part of former Yugoslavia and it is now an independent state since 2008. However, as it was largely influenced by Yugoslavia, by Serbian, also by the Serbian language, and in general the Kosovo Albanian dialect, we can say, is a bit different than northeastern Gheg from Albania, for example. Of course, they are very similar, they are still the same dialect. However, we can say in Kosovo we use, for example, some words which are uniquely used in Kosovo, as for example ker. Ker is used for car, which is similar to English. Car means ker in Kosovo. In Albania they used to say makin, for example. Makin, makina. In Kosovo, ker, keri, or also, for example, dram, drama. Furthermore, in Kosovo we say cheek for girl or daughter. Cheek, chica, similar to the Spanish word chica, although I think there are no etymological similarities. Cheek in Kosovo Albanian. And in addition, we also use different words, for example, like zal. Zal means sand. Sand in Albania is rör or ran in Gheg dialects there, but in Kosovo we say zal. So we can say that Kosovo Albanian is just a variant of northeastern Gheg. It is not so different from the northeastern Gheg dialects from Albania or North Macedonia, for example. However, in this regard, we can also say that, for example, North Macedonian dialects are a little unique because they were also separated from Albania and Kosovo, for example. And now we have learned what is Gheg Albanian and what is Kosovo Albanian. If you actually want to learn more about Gheg Albanian, how the language is used, you can look at our website geglex.com. It is a unique Gheg Albanian dictionary and learning page, which you can also use as an application on your phone, tablet or computer. At GegLex you find the dictionary with many entries as well as example phrases and audios, so you can actually listen to the words. And there are many vocabulary games, so you can play a bit and learn Gheg Albanian in a playful manner. Furthermore, there are quizzes on Kosovo, on the geography, history, culture and language. We have a special section about the pronunciation. You can find special letters there, how they are pronounced, and there's also a game. We have a blog with blog entries. You can use the whole page geglex.com in both German and English. If you like this video, please hit the like button, write a comment, subscribe to our channel for more videos in the future. For news about GegLex, share the website geglex.com with your friends and family. We would appreciate it a lot. Faleminderit shumë. Thank you so much. Until the next time, shimi prap në videon tjetër. We see each other again in the next video. Thank you so much. Faleminderit shumë edhe tunga tjetër. Goodbye.
Meet GegLex, the easiest way to master Gheg Albanian, the Kosovo dialect, with clear lessons, native audio and interactive practice. GegLex not only teaches native pronunciation, but also shows how Gheg words are truly used through real examples in everyday context. Practice with flashcards, quizzes and games that make learning Gheg Albanian fun, motivating and easy to continue daily. GegLex goes beyond language basics by teaching Kosovo culture, history, geography and everyday language. Start learning Gheg Albanian today completely free and visit geglex.com to begin instantly.